up with 21% of the value of the bonds that they were holding. In other words, they took a 20% loss in their bonds, and they're going to have to go in and back up the market to the tune of about $500 billion.
Stay there. So now it's time to turn the jihadis loose on Europe to teach them to lick banker boots better?
Exactly.
All right, stay there. Stay there. We'll see if Robert can stay there. Paul Watson's coming in. This is all breaking, ladies and gentlemen. We're going into overdrive. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Infowars.com, prisonplanet.tv.
We're on the march. The empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
A very wealthy U.S. citizen is predicting that in 2011, we will witness the most important day in America in more than 50 years. He says it will change everything about our lives. The way you shop, travel, invest, educate your children, and even how you take care of your health and your own family. Now, this man has made some outrageous predictions over the years. The crazy part is, he's usually right. You see, he predicted the collapse of GM, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and America's biggest mall owner, General Growth Properties. In fact, Barron's called his work a dire prophecy. Recently, he created a video, which you can watch online for free, detailing his biggest and most important prediction yet. And it's a real eye-opener. I can't stress this enough. You should at least watch this free video online today. He explains everything you need to know, including simple steps you can take to protect yourself. You can find the video at www.endofamerica3.com. That's endofamerica, the number 3.com. Watch the free video at www.endofamerica3.com. That's endofamerica3.com.
Hi, this is Steve Shank and Babs Rossberg with eFoods Direct. Babs, you work a lot with shipping, and things are going absolutely nuts with this new Independence Month Patriot Pack that eFoods is giving away.
The way things are going, we're shipping thousands of these great little Patriot Packs out. Just an example, Sherry from Arkansas made a $1,300 order. We shipped her 5 free Patriot Packs, $750 more free food.
Folks are really surprised at what we're actually giving away. Now, folks, we've had 235 years of freedom in this country, so for every $235 worth of food ordered, we give away a $149 Patriot Pack free.
To order the best food on the planet, call 800-409-5633 or go to efoodsdirect.com/Alex.
A free 12-day supply Patriot Pack with every $235 worth of food ordered. Call 800-409-5633 or efoodsdirect.com/Alex.
Hundreds of nations have fallen to tyranny in the last century alone. This is our last chance to not relive history.
As we're finishing off this agenda, they'll be pulling the rug from underneath Americans at home.
They have tremendous influence on our president and Congress, and they really are calling the shots.
I think it's incumbent upon all of us as American citizens to pay attention.
Fall of the Republic identifies the enemies of our nation, the criminal offshore cartel, hell-bent on destroying sovereignty, and on its ashes constructing world government.
Tim Geithner, Bernanke, they're arsonists. They're asking for more matches. And the Congress is saying, who do we make the check out to?
Today, it seems like nobody does care. And right now in Washington, D.C., we have seen a fall of the Republic.
Get your copy of Fall of the Republic on DVD at Infowars.com or watch it online right now in super high quality at prisonplanet.tv.
This transmission is coming to you.
Waging war on corruption.
It's Red Leader. I'm hot.
It's Alex Jones coming to you live from the front lines of the Info War.
We're on them, folks. We got it. We know the enemy attack pattern. The 6 big mega banks. Bob Chapman riding shotgun with us. So busy during the breaks, I didn't ask him if he could stay into the next hour to take your calls. Paul Watson joining us via video Skype. Had him holding for 20 minutes. I need to punch him out of here quick so he can write articles so they can go out to the 4 winds of the web. It is important we get on top of this story now. I also want to get into the economy later in the next hour. Let me ask Bob Chapman before we let Robert go, because I know he's got to get to his civil defense. He's part of the defense system there, just I guess like Switzerland. A lot of those countries have that. Bob, can you ride shotgun in the next hour?
Absolutely.
Okay, good, because we need to talk to you, but obviously this is breaking right now, but you are particularly suited for 50 years talking about stage terror and stage crises, and don't let a good crisis go to waste. Finishing up with Robert, I want to illustrate that even though terrorism is incredibly rare, and in most cases it is staged, there are real attacks, they're never coordinated, they're never multiple events. I mean, they do go on. There are real people that hit soft targets. They see it as a military operation because they don't have Abrams tanks and F-16s. You can call them terrorists. You can call them freedom fighters. The point is that they do exist. Now, the bigger issue here is most events are provocateur, patsied, or purely staged. This has the hallmarks of a purely staged event, just as a snapshot look at it. And the key time when it's happening, I said, as the implosions happen, they will try to menace people into gathering around the government, changing the subject from the banksters. We have predicted it with total precision. Soft targets, white al-Qaeda, because of the pre-scripting. Again, they think you're dumb. But, Robert, even though it's incredibly rare, still it shows how it could happen to anybody. Here you are a listener. Here you are researching false flag and how important it is to the geopolitical strategy and stratagems and gambits of the controllers. And here you are barely surviving it, but thank God you survived and are able to report to us, just like Kurt Haskell and his wife, who saw the U.S. government get Muttalib on the plane. I'm getting chills right now, and the FBI came and visited him, tried to get him to change his story, and a month and a half later, it came out that everything he said here was true. I'm getting chills. I wish it was some guy from Africa. That's not scary, statistically, but that the government would be doing this is scarier than you know what. Robert, do you have any comments on this, you know, on the fact that how weird it is that you're a listener and this happened? Well, I guess we have listeners everywhere.
Of course. I mean, watching the news now, they say at least 4 or 5 people shot at this youth innocent political camp. You know, there's no marching in banners. They're just having tents and just like a festival. And then some guy, you know, dressed up as police officer goes and you know, just close them down with a machine gun.
Yeah, let's not forget that. He was reportedly dressed as a policeman.
So they said he lost his cap so that they could clearly see who he was.
Oh, of course, the blonde hair. And for folks that don't know how this works, they can have a special ops deep cover guy like McVeigh tell him to do it and then set him up later, or they can have a look-alike like Lee Harvey Oswald. And this stuff's come out. This is how, Bob Chapman, you worked in Black Ops. We're going to get Dr. Steve Pachenik on. That is absolutely needed for Sunday. You worked in Black Ops. I mean, this is on record that they operate like this. As a snapshot, Bob Chapman, what do you say looking at this right now?
Well, it's hard to tell their objective because we don't know really where they're going with this. But because of what's going on in Europe, I see it through that lens, and that is the bankers have had to capitulate. First, they were going to take all of the things that Greece had. Then they were going to take a couple of things. Now they're not going to take anything. And in the meantime, the German public has demanded that the German government make the bankers participate. They're the ones that caused the problem, and they're the ones that are sitting on a good part of the bonds. So the bankers are going to have to come up, and this is a menial amount as far as I'm concerned, but they don't like it, and that's about 21% of their participation, which means they're taking a 20% haircut on what they already own and probably will own in the future with this refunding of Greece. And I think they're furious about it. And some of this stuff is open-ended. We have this European Monetary Fund, which says the bankers are going to have to come up with $20 billion immediately by exchanging bonds, which would mean they take the old bonds in, and let the Greeks put out new bonds that have a 15 or 30-year life. But what's even more interesting is that the buyback program is still to be outlined by the governments. And that means that they're going to have to come up with a lot more money. Where in the first place, they thought they were going to loot the country, Greece. And so I think that could be part of what's going on.
Okay, we're going to talk more about that in the next hour with Bob Chapman and your calls. If you want to join us on air, it's 1-800-259-9231, 1-800-259-9231, Bob Chapman of the internationalforecaster.com. We're going to Paul Watson, editor of prisonplanet.com in just a moment. But going back to Robert, a survivor, anything else you'd like to add before I have Paul ask you a question, then we'll let you go. But I definitely want to check in with you again coming up in 48 hours or so on the Sunday 4 to 6 broadcast. I think that's very important. We'll know a lot more by then. I pray this is real terrorists. That's a lot less scary than state-sponsored. And someday we may find that four-leaf clover because, you know, it's terrorism's bad, but I really wish it was lone nut Muslims and not the military-industrial complex. That's a lot more frightening. And so please, God, let it be Muslim extremists, please. But we may find that unicorn here. Now, anything else, Robert, you'd like to add before Watson asks a question?
I would just like to say that I totally agree with you. I just hope that this is done by terrorists, but I have a very sneaking suspicion that it's not. And I also thank you for taking this call and keeping on, you know, presenting the message, because so many people don't know what's going on here and, you know, everywhere else. But when things like this happen, and there are so many coincidences, you know, the Prime Minister on some summer TV show last night talking about the future and saying about they had a plan and so on, and this happens. No, it's just...
so he's been on TV talking about we're going to protect you from terrorists, and then they hit.
Well, not about terrorists, but yes, against financial terrorism or against just protect the Norwegian people against, you know, all the foreign threats.
I had seen in some blurbs that that actually some of the bankers have been mad at him for not wanting, or them, your government, to contribute more money. But I mean, was that disinfo? You're saying your leader is pretty bad news?
I'm not sure, but you know, they have, I guess, the same leaders as your leaders. That's the way it seems, anyway.
Yeah, no, it's unified fraud.
In your films, you have, I recognize Norwegian politicians from the Bilderberg meetings and so on. So, you know how it is.
Absolutely. Let's bring Paul Watson in. Then we'll get more of a report from Bob Chapman and Paul. Let Paul get back to writing big breaking news at prisonplanet.com. Paul Watson joining us via video Skype. Do you have any questions for Robert, a survivor, a narrow survivor, blown back by the blast, 200 feet away, walking towards it when it happened? He's got to be thanking his lucky stars, his guardian angel. In fact, Robert, are you thanking your guardian angel right now? Or I mean, there are no atheists in foxholes. Are you feeling blessed right now that you're alive?
Well, yes, certainly. So yes, my guardian angels are getting praised at the moment.
Oh, wonderful. Paul Watson, any comments for Robert or questions?
Yeah, well, it was reported by both the Daily Mail and a Norwegian commenter who left a comment on our article that, and this is what pops out, is the fact that, you know, if terrorists want to kill as many people as possible, which is presumably their motive, then apparently today is a public holiday in Norway, so that building was mostly empty.
Yeah, why bomb a government building on a holiday?
It's the middle of the vacation. I mean, people aren't back for 2 weeks, for 1 week back. I mean, there's no one here. The city is empty. The government building's empty. He was just sitting on TV yesterday telling about how everyone's on vacation. So I mean, why would a terrorist not? I won't, you know. But yeah, it's strange. It's very unnerving.
Paul Watson, continue with questions.
Well, I mean, there's three very good reasons why Norway would be in line for a slap on the wrist from these globalists. I mean, it's a country that's not in the EU, so it's not part of that Bilderberg inner circle. Number one, 2 months ago, they